distracted on my point. What were we talking about?
It's bullcrap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him. Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
That's how long I've been on ya.
It's Nuño and the crew on TexAgs Radio, right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
You know how long I've been on ya. Prince was on Apollonia.
A little annoyed this morning. We'll get into that here in a minute. It's TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in. A&M softball loses 4-1 to Florida in the SEC tournament. A day after winning their first round matchup against South Carolina, so now they await their fate in or out of the NCAA tournament. We can certainly talk about that here on the show. If you want to be a part of the conversation, text us on the A&B text line, 979-693-1150. A&B, a College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good Texas Banking, the website, anb.com. You can also call us up on the BCSI hotline. But we're going to start our show for a moment on Bobby Burton. I guess he's the old Rivals guy. Not really familiar with him. Not going to do personal attacks. But you don't want to poke the bear. And I think the bear's been poked. The Astros became the face for the cheating scandal a couple years back, and I'm not debating if they deserved it or not. They got caught. They did something wrong. They should get it. But the loudest of the teams after them were the ones that were just as egregious. In some cases, maybe we would say more. And that's for something that was proven to be wrong, but there is no evidence of anything proven to be wrong about Texas A&M. And a coach who has done everything by the book, who has been he's recruited at a very high clip his entire career, gets the number one class, which, by the way, the bulk of it came from the city of Houston. And this dude writes a hit piece that just comes after Texas A&M and the way they go about their business. I'll read a couple of notes from it. Many of the same administrators and coaches believe the Aggies bought their recruiting class in the country, the top recruiting class. They may not say it out loud, but they firmly believe it. So I'm wondering, and this is just me, how many of the top administrators in college sports are actually talking to Bobby Burton? I would assume he knows the one at Texas, but I don't know. I don't know the guy. I'm just wondering if he's really on the phone with these top administrators. But we'll go on. I don't actually blame USC or Tennessee or whoever for being ultra-aggressive in the transfer portal via the nuanced NIL quarterback signings. All those two schools are doing is codifying what A&M did in another fashion. For example, do you really think Tennessee would have found it necessary to pay $8 million for a blue-chip quarterback if they wouldn't have lost Walter Nolan from their own backyard? Don't be dumb. Obi, let's start the Go Hour. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Explain to me, because you've been here a little bit longer, and I think you have a better memory than me. Didn't Walter Nolan say if it was about money, he would have gone to Tennessee?
He did.
He said that out loud, right?
Right. So,
okay.
So Bobby Burton's basically saying that Walter Nolan's a liar.
Yeah.
So, Walter, keep that in mind if you ever have to play Texas. So, you lied, Walter Nolan. And yet, here's the program that actually set it up. Set it. We're going to pay offensive linemen $50,000 to come here and call it the Pancake Factory.
Early in the process, by the way.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers. You think he
was
getting
free.
nothing?
He left Ohio State where he was getting paid NIL for free to go to Texas because he wanted to, even though he was flirting with Texas Tech.
And I worked with Bobby Burton.
So you know him.
Yes, I do. And I wonder what I'm allowed to say.
Then you probably shouldn't, but I want you to.
But there are.
Let me just say this.
Yeah,
I don't know the guy at all.
Trouble, and I do, and I don't know. He's a bad person.
Okay, and I'll take your word for it because I know you. I don't know him. I just know that we have a responsibility when we have a microphone, when we have a website, to give, I believe, factual information. Regardless of what kind of website you are, if you're pandering to your subscribers or not, I believe people want facts and truths.
Not his audience. His audience does not want that. Why do you think they're...
Well, sometimes you got to tell the audience the truth. Like, the audience may not want to hear what we have to think sometimes, but guess what? We're going to be authentic and tell you what we think.
Yeah, always, and you know, you may not be right, but at least I always say, I'm going to tell you the truth as I see it. Now, maybe this is how he sees it, but if you're going to accuse somebody of doing something wrong, have some facts to back you up. And the facts can't be, well, they signed a great recruiting class. Once again, I don't know how many times you got to say this. First of all, Jimbo Fisher's history shows that he signs a great recruiting class. Secondly, almost all of that recruiting class was committed long before NIL. So once again,
so I'm trying to draw the how he got from point A to point B. He is saying here that Tennessee was forced to do this because Texas A&M did what they did in their backyard. Yet the first person to brag about NIL was Nick Saban.
Yeah, of course. And
it's okay there.
And I brought that up to Alabama fans. That's what they say. Yeah, but Bryce Young was already on campus.
And if you listen to Jimbo Fisher's words, doesn't he think he has said it? In fact, last night in Dallas, I believe he said it. It would be unfair to the players on campus if he was offering people who haven't proven anything these kind of dollars that are being reported.
Now, I'm not sure. I suspect that when they're recruiting a guy and they show him everything that A&M has to offer and they give him their recruiting pitch, they also say, and we have had this many guys have made this much money off of NIL, and you can probably make that too. That is not against the rules.
Yeah, it's legal.
Yeah.
I don't think the Pancake Factory was legal.
Well, and they actually put it out there. We will pay offensive linemen $50,000. And do you think they're not? Just because they had to walk it back on. Do you think the Banks kid, isn't that his name?
Yeah.
Do you think he's getting nothing?
I don't know.
I mean, the guy but I'm just suspect a guy was going to Oregon and changed and decided to go to Texas. And maybe it was because, I mean, if A&M is paying so much, right, and A&M wanted him. If A&M's paying so much and A&M wanted Banks, do you think that he would say, no, A&M, no, Oregon, I don't want any of your money. I'm going to go to Texas for nothing because I just always wanted to wear the burnt orange.
Hey, I am curious what Texas's ranking was before NIL was, because I'm looking back here and I'm looking at 20, and I know they had a coaching change, but Texas was number 15, A&M was number 8 with 23 commits, by the way. They were number 8. So, and also Texas had 23. NIL wasn't a part of that one. Let's go back to 2020, because apparently that's this, and they had a good year, I believe, if memory serves me correct. A&M that year was ranked number 6. Texas was 8th. So they've been basically in the same neighborhood with A&M ahead for the last 3 years. And by the way, that happened again this year.
Walter Nolan was recruited by guys with who relates well to kids. They're able to show him, hey, look at some of the defensive linemen here have done in the NFL. See, Texas can't do that. But look what some of the defensive linemen have done here. Hey, look at our facility, and everybody wants to say, well, he just came for money. Well, once again, if A&M paid him, well, let me ask you this way.
Yes, sir.
$8 million, is he saying that's what they paid for a quarterback?
I think that's what it says. Well, let me go to the actual. I think he said 8 figures, not $8 million.
Okay, 8 figures.
Oh yeah. For example, Tennessee would have found it necessary to pay their Tennessee quarterback $8 million.
Okay. Why didn't they pay that to Walter Nolan?
I think that's a point. Pretty good point.
I mean,
and I don't even know if again, I don't run with these numbers that, like, who's vetting this and that. These are just numbers thrown out there.
When I worked at Rivals, I had a conversation with Bobby once, and I don't see this actually happened. They had a 5-star receiver who was committed to Texas named Dan Buckner. Remember Dan Buckner?
Yeah.
Who never really did anything. And I asked him how fast this guy was. I said, "Hey, he runs like a 4.4." And Bobby goes, "No, he doesn't. He doesn't run that fast. He's not nearly that fast." I said, "We've got it on the site that he does." "Yeah, but that's what his coach says. His coach is just trying to build him up." I said, "You know this?" "Yeah." I said, "Why is he a 5-star guy?" He said, "Well, he's going to Texas."
Let that marinate.
So, yeah, just let that. Now, the guys who were scouts, like Barton Simmons and some of the other guys that went out there, I respect because they were really working hard to try to make sure that they were as accurate as possible in ranking these guys.
Yep.
But, Bobby told me flat out that they were giving this guy a 5-star ranking basically because he was going to Texas.
Again, I don't know, Burton. I'm just basing this off the information that I'm reading, and if it were any of the national guys, anybody, I just think, give me some information if you're going to throw this out there. And then also, let's look at the landscape of college sports. I don't think A&M is doing any of the stuff that they're saying here. Let's just say they are for this conversation piece. So is everybody else. This is a different world of college football where you are allowed to pay players through these NIL deals and these subgroups that are out there. I don't see anything. If A&M maximized their opportunities because of NIL in a legal world, great. If you are pointing fingers at them and you're doing the exact same thing, well, shame on you.
Well, once again, why did Harold Perkins go to LSU instead of A&M?
There's a school of thought that people think something could have happened.
So why?
But I don't know.
Why wasn't A&M offering Harold Perkins apparently $8 million because, or something crazy? But I say $8 million because Tennessee offers their quarterback $8 million, which they must have been willing to offer Walter Nolan.
Where's Bryce Young from?
Bryce Young is from California.
Oh, he left the state. He left the backyard of California.
But it's okay if they go to
Alabama.
Alabama.
Okay.
And it's okay if they go to Ohio State. It's okay if they go to Texas. Because at Texas, you can say, hey, we'll even give you $50,000 just to play offensive line, and they'll make it public.
If Jordan Allison picks Texas, I'm sure it's all because of the rich history they've had the last 15 years in college football. I'm sure that's why. And I have to say this. Walter Nolan was in attendance for the Alabama game. And if you weren't there and you weren't watching, you may not know how magical of a night it was because all you can think about is 8-4. But those who were there in attendance know how magical of an evening that was. And it started before the game-winning kick. It felt magical from the first kick.
It was a great night. And, Tennessee hadn't been really good for a long time. So that's another thing. A lot of kids that
and they had a nice year last year. They did.
They had a nice year.
Yeah.
A lot of kids that grow up in an area, I know this personally, decide they want to go out of state.
Yeah, you know it too.
For whatever reason.
And you would have done everything in your power to have it not be a certain school.
I would have done everything in my power to have it not be out of state, but it was beyond my power. I guess it was. I could have said, well, then I'm not going to pay, but I wouldn't do that. But anyway, all I can say is Jimbo Fisher has said that they've done nothing wrong. Walter Nolan said it wasn't about money. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I could be wrong on this. I wish Ross was here to ask him. Everything with NIL is under a state law.
Mm-hmm.
So the state is going to require certain documentations of things.
Yeah.
And if you provide that as you're going to be demanded to, that's going to show whether or not you did something
shady
illegal.
Or not. Yep, you're right. Let's go around and say hello. Sam Kamen is behind the glass. Good morning to you, Sam.
Good morning to y'all. How we doing?
We're doing well. Pretty well.
See, I'm not getting any
it might be.
sound.
Well, I'll wait for OB to get his.
It's all right.
earplugs
I'll
in.
tell him what you say.
Okay.
But I want to be a little bit more optimistic and cheerful in what I bring to the table today, and that's talking about women's golf.
Women's golf, yeah, man.
The women's golf team came back from a 6-stroke deficit. They were right under the cut line. Top 4 teams from regionals go in, and they were sitting at number 5 going into the third round. And Zoe Slaughter had honestly a day that we all dream of, shooting 7 under, 65, and led the way for the Aggies. Jenny Park did her job the previous 2 days, shooting 3 under, 69 day 1, and a 66, 6 under on day 2, and it was close. I was watching the golf stat, and they were
down 6 strokes, right?
They were down 6 strokes, and coming down the stretch, they were up 1, and Duke had I want to say a birdie putt to send them to a playoff, and they pushed it right. And I think we've got a video that we'll show later when the golf team is in here with Coach Chadwell and Jenny Park. But the emotions are high for them, especially from what they were last year. I think they were one of the worst teams in the SEC, and in year 1, they're going to the national championship.
Yeah, I'm proud of them. Garrett is a great dude. He's come to the studio several times. He'll be here today. He's done such a wonderful, wonderful job. I want to read this message here from Jimmy Snyder on the YouTube page. By the way, you can go subscribe to our YouTube page and be a part of the conversation there. You can watch us on TexAgs.com. Those of you watching on the CW, hello. I know who you are. Actually, I don't, but I just wanted to make it creepy. And on the Zone, thank you so much for listening. Here's Jimmy on YouTube. Says, Texas finishes 5-7 with a loss to Kansas and somehow manages to sign the number 5 class. Nothing to see here, according to Burton.
Yeah, could it be just because they have such a great coach who's such a great recruiter? Is that what it is?
You know, he's done amazing stuff at his previous stops as a head coach, hasn't he?
Yeah. So glass houses, and you know, one's probably what is they call it, projectiling when you accuse someone of something that you yourself are doing.
I don't know the term, but I like the term projectiling.
That's probably not it.
It's probably not it. Yeah, I'm gonna go with you there.
You know, some guys, some woman says, "Hey," or some guy tells, "Hey, I think you're, you know, been doing something you shouldn't be doing," because they've been doing something they shouldn't be doing.
Right. Hey, we'll come back with this. Also, I got some Jimbo thoughts from last night. Right now, we are talking Association of Former Students. They've been doing it for over 140 years, and they are so good at helping Aggies, which is basically what Aggies should do, right? Aggies should help other Aggies, and that's what the Association of Former Students does. They help with scholarships, Aggie bands, silver taps, student assistance programs, class reunions, muster, tailgate, traveling Aggies. That is what the that's what the association does. And the why is to help people just like you listening to this show, watching this show out there. That's why I'm encouraging everybody to check out IamTheWhy.com. That is where Aggies share their stories and perspective. IamTheWhy.com. You can see and hear the why and discover Aggies just like you on the why. And they got some wonderful stories on there to check out. So when you go, check out the beautiful gallery that they have of these wonderful human interest stories, like the Center of Teaching Excellence. Hannah, staff member at the association, talks about her personal experience with Aggie Muster. You got Jose talking about the challenges his family overcame in order for him to be at A&M and how scholarship helps keep him at school. So these are the kind of stories you'll find there on IamTheWhy.com. Go check it out. It is the Association of Former Students, IamTheWhy.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone, brought to you by Christine Engler, the Aggie loan expert. Teachers close a loan with Christine and get a $500 Target gift card. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. College Station Noon Lions Club is hosting Art in the Park, a free community event for children and families on Saturday, May 14th at Central Park from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The Shiro Volunteer Fire Department invites you to their 42nd annual barbecue on Saturday, May 14th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out for food, fun, and prizes. On Sunday, May 15th, Blue Baker is celebrating 21 years in the Brazos Valley with Free Cookie Day. Come to any of their 3 locations and grab a free, freshly baked cookie. Texas A&M Libraries is hosting the traveling exhibition Wildlife Guild of Bookworkers Triannual Exhibition at Cushing Memorial Library and Archives through June 24th. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
We're here with Jason Rollo of Rollo Insurance. Jason, when we say the difference is real, what does that mean?
Well, first of all, when we use the term real, we're speaking about being genuine. And I think that anyone who does something in a good way has to be genuine. But also when I think about the term real, I think about rates, education, assets, and life. Many people think that insurance is about rates. Although that's important, it's actually about education of what you're buying to protect your assets, and we want to do that for the life of the client.
For more information, go to RolloInsurance.com/TexAgs.
You are almost out of time to make your nominations for the 22nd year of the Best of the Brazos Valley. Go to bestofthebrazos.com and submit your nominations for the best in dining, entertainment, automotive, health and wellness, services, retail, and everything in between. This is your chance to recognize the best in all the categories that make the Brazos Valley the best place to live. Nominations close Friday, May 13th, so don't wait. Nominate now at bestofthebrazos.com.
Let the Zone and the Louis Bellina Show send you and your family all the places you want to be this summer. It's called the Texas Summer Survival Kit, and it's thanks to Field to Family, farm fresh beef direct from their fields to your family. Each week, all summer long, you can win 4 tickets to the Brazos Valley Bombers, 4 tickets to Fiesta, Texas, 4 tickets to Cinemark, and a $50 gift certificate to Field to Family. All you have to do is register Saturday through Thursday at zone1150.com. Matter of fact, if you want more information, look up all the details. Wait a minute, I get to win all that? You can go now and look up at zone1150.com. It's the Texas Summer Survival Kit. It's presented by Field to Family. They offer unique cuts you can't even find in the grocery store. Go to all the places you want to go this summer. Take your family, and it's all thanks to The Zone, the Louis Bellina Show, and Field to Family.
One of my favorite things to see is when other fan bases jump on the YouTube page and just add to the algorithm and just put their thoughts. There's a gentleman on there who put 4 or 5 different times in all caps, Ole Miss owns A&M. We weren't even 5 times. We weren't even talking about Ole Miss, but what he's doing is adding to this NIL fund by going to our algorithm and making us more popular. So thank you for making us some money here. And every time I mention that to a troll that comes on, they disappear. It's interesting how they don't say anything back. Huh.
Now Ole Miss did win this year.
Yeah, they did.
But I'm pretty sure I saw A&M win the year before. I mean, well, they didn't play the year before.
They didn't play the year before,
but
the year before that.
The previous time they won.
Yeah.
I've seen A&M. I don't know what the series is. I would suspect that it's either even or maybe Ole Miss leads it by 1 game, maybe.
Oh, that means they own us, right? No.
Ole Miss doesn't own anybody.
No, they don't.
Ole Miss would like to, but they don't own anybody.
I did remind him that DJ Durkin left as soon as he could from Ole Miss. So, I guess there's that.
Yeah. Ole Miss.
Didn't Lane Kiffin's brother leave as soon as he could too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they lost both coordinators. Okay.
Yeah.
And Matt Corral's graduated or moved on to the NFL.
Yeah.
Jeff Lebby left. Right.
But who does Ole Miss own? Hell, they didn't even own Jacksonville State a few years ago.
This is true.
Jacksonville State beat them. Now, that was 10 years ago, but still.
Well, I'm just a big fan of people adding to the algorithm, so thank you. Thank you. Keep doing it. All fan bases, join us,
How
please.
does Mississippi get into this?
I don't know. They just, let me get on YouTube and I'm going to write this. Loser. All right. It is TexAgs Radio. We're all winners here. You can be a part of the conversation by calling us up on the BCSI hotline, 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150 is the phone number. You can call us up on the BCSI hotline or the A&B text line to text us your thoughts here. So, OB, I ask you the question. Is the blueprint during NIL basically being done by what we are seeing from Damani Richardson and Anaya Smith? And the reason I'm asking, I'm going to read you a couple of quotes from last night's Coaches Night in Dallas. And Jimbo said this: Damani Richardson's draft stock is going to go up. Great decision to stay. On Anaya Smith, he made a great decision coming back. His draft stock is going to soar. I believe that to be the case. I believe that to be the case before the NFL draft, a couple weeks back, and I believe that's going to be the case moving forward. And I think there's a couple guys who went into the league that, hey, congratulations, may have been able to heighten their profile as well. I think with NIL dollars being around, it can allow for these athletes to stay a little bit longer, work on their craft, and not think about the NFL money right away because NIL money is good enough.
Absolutely. Even in the past, there were guys that sometime were savvy enough to stay for another year. I can remember Trent Williams at Oklahoma. It would have been a high pick, but people are saying, why is he coming back? Well, probably because Oklahoma was paying him, but also because he had a chance to improve his draft stock, and I think he was like a top 5 pick. I think Bobby Brown would have stayed another year had he had an option.
Yep.
Like NIL, but everyone knows his mother was sick and he needed to make some money.
I don't know if Kellen would have stayed, but he might have stayed.
He might have. So, absolutely, you have a chance to make some money. No, you're not going to make the riches, but you make some money, and not a bad amount. And then that gives you a chance to have a big year and become a first or second round pick than maybe a 4th, 5th, or 6th round pick. And the money is so much different that you will come out ahead by coming back. So in certain cases, absolutely. Now, in certain cases, you need to go. Myles Garrett needed to go.
If you're what is that case? I don't think there's a one size fits all, but I'm just going to say if you're projected to be 1 through 15, you go.
If you're projected as a first round pick, or even a second round pick,
because DeMarvin was initially, right?
Well, initially, but we don't know what kind of grade he was getting back from from the NFL. Say, if they say, well, we see you as a second or a third round pick, you might need to think about it and say, well, why don't I just come back and remove all doubt that I'm a first round pick? Mm-hmm. I'm really motivated. What I wonder is what kind of grade Weidemeyer got. And I do wish that they would let them, and maybe they do. I don't know all the rules. But I think the way it is on like January 15th or 16th or sometime mid-January, you have to apply, you have to announce whether you're going. I would love for them to have all the way up until maybe the draft, until the draft starts, to pull out.
I agree. They allow it in the NBA. I forget what the deadline is.
I think doesn't it even go in after the draft?
Is it after the draft?
I don't know. I'm not going to act like I know something on that. Between my dad and I, we know everything, and that's one of the things he knows.
Okay. Well, we'll have to ask. It is now time to talk about the Aggie loan expert, Christine Engler. Christine is a great Aggie. Her husband, great Aggie. They met here at Texas A&M, and she has brought her business here to town to really help Aggies all around the place. And really, anybody listening to this show right now can take advantage, because right now the market is hot still. And I don't know how much longer it's going to be hot, but you want to jump on it. We're talking refis, cash outs. We're talking a new mortgage. She can help you out with all those options. She and her team are efficient, detail-oriented, friendly. They make the mortgage process smooth and easy for all. Their clients should go above and beyond. That's what she does. She is great. And many of you who are thinking about renting, you should buy. I'm going to tell you right now, when you rent, you must come up with a deposit, maybe even the first and last month's rent. But when you buy a home, you have little to no money down if you want to go that route. When you own a home, you check with a tax professional, because some of the mortgage interest and property taxes might be deductible. Rent is not tax deductible, and rent raises can rise, but a fixed mortgage stays the same. Like Christine Engler, the Aggie loan expert, discuss the benefits of ownership with you. Reach out at AggieLoanExpert.com. Terms and conditions do apply. Christine Engler, Aggie Loan Expert, NMLS number 1309378, company NMLS number 1324641, equal housing opportunity.
Well, he survived football season and didn't enter the transfer portal. It's David Nuño on TexAgs Radio, weekdays on The Zone.
Since 1957, Slovačić Sausage in Snook has been making the best tasting sausage in Texas from the same family recipe. Slovačić is the official sausage of Texas A&M Athletics. Whether it's from the grill to the family gathering or from the pit to the neighborhood party, serve the sausage voted best in the Brazos Valley. Serve Slovačić. Be sure to come in and check out their full-service meat market, relax on the front porch, or grab some fresh kolaches from their bakery on your way out. Slovačić Sausage, Highway 60 in Snook.
Looking for more ways to save money? Aren't we all? Jenny here. Shop your local Big Deals online store. You'll find gift certificates to all kinds of local businesses, places where you already shop, restaurants you already love, and great local entertainment. The best part? All of these gift certificates are on sale at discounted prices. Get them for yourself or buy them as a gift. Shop and save. You'll be glad you did.
AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
You are almost out of time to make your nominations for the 22nd year of the Best of the Brazos Valley. Go to bestofthebrazos.com and submit your nominations for the best in dining, entertainment, automotive, health and wellness, services, retail, and everything in between. This is your chance to recognize the best in all the categories that make the Brazos Valley the best place to live. Nominations close Friday, May 13th, so don't wait. Nominate now at bestofthebrazos.com.
Celebrate the history of our national pastime at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that will bring your baseball memories to life. Connect with events that have shaped and changed the game and our country. Our stories to tell, your memories to share. Plan your family visit today at baseballhall.org. See you in Cooperstown, where the journey becomes legend.
This is ESPN Radio.
The head coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, Chris Finch.
We've just finished playing the better part of 2 years of joyless basketball when it felt really like a job.
Justin Reed, the new safety for the Kansas City Chiefs.
You know, it didn't really hit me until the next morning when I woke up, and it was like the closest feeling to what it was like to first get drafted.
Cincinnati coach Luke Fickell.
We're going to continue to recruit the same type of kid, whether we're playing in the AAC or we're playing in the Big 12, but I do believe that it gives us a greater opportunity with a lot of those kids. Maybe we haven't been able to land.
Ken Griffey Jr.
We needed to celebrate the guys that made a difference in history, not just on the field, but history.
Saints first team All-Pro 2017. Cam Jordan.
I just clump them together. I just go 3-time All-Pro. Honestly, as long as it says 100 sack club guy, that's really the kicker for me.
ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
We are back, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. They are the official insurance provider of TexAgs Radio. The difference is real. They're an independent insurance company built around educating you on exactly what you're paying for, doing the shopping for you so that you can accomplish all of your insurance goals. Great people over there at Rollo Insurance. Go call them up or check them out at 888-44-ROLLO or go to rolloinsurance.com. It's now time for our weekly conversation with Stephen McGee from Paragon Financial, our QB1 here on the BCSI hotline. Good morning, Stephen.
Hey, good morning. Has anybody ever told you, Dave, that you look like Ross from Friends?
Yep, got that one. There's about 4 or 5 that I've gotten. Especially when I do puffier hair like this. I've gotten Ross. I've gotten David Muir from ABC News. I don't know if anybody watches ABC News.
No.
And I've gotten Freddie Prinze Jr. Those are the 3 I've gotten.
Yeah.
There might be another one.
Well, of the 3, the only one that I can relate to or that I've ever seen is Friends. So
who do people say you look like, McGee?
I don't want to know. Especially at this stage of life. We were just talking about hairdos, and Zane's in the back. He's got this fresh cut mullet, but it's so professional business from the front, but it is dirty ducktails in the back, man. It's got the old Jerry curl situation in the back. It is amazing.
Avoiding that question like he's avoiding pass rushers in the pocket.
OB, I don't want to know who I look like. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hey, Stephen, we were just talking a moment ago about how NIL has afforded the opportunities for players like Damani Richardson and Anaya Smith to stay an extra year, make some change, hopefully, and also perfect their skills, get a better draft stock for next year. Do you think that maybe with this new era, and Jimbo's touched upon this last night, by the way, just to how those 2 guys are really going to help their draft their mock drafts out there. But do you think this is going to be maybe a sign of things to come here in the future so guys do make more money and perfect their craft a little bit?
I think it could very well be one of the better sides of the NIL. I've spoken at length about some of the downsides, in my opinion, of the NIL, but I think this is definitely one that's good. And, I always go back and for some reason, Tyrell Dotson, great player at A&M, linebacker, and, his story is one where I felt like he could have benefited from another year. He ended up being a free agent pick, and he's done great in the NFL. But I felt like he really could have boosted his stock. He needed one more, and I think he had the wrong people in his ear, and so he leaves early. But I think in the world of NIL, he's the kind of guy that you want back in your locker room. He's a great teammate. He's a great leader, and he's productive on the field. And so that could have. And I don't know if he graduated or not, but those are all the things that I think NIL can provide for these kids. Is, hey, you know what? As a free agent, you're going to get $10,000 to sign with the Philadelphia Eagles, but no guaranteed money. You come back to A&M, you're going to get $80,000. You're going to get to finish your degree and potentially boost your stock and become a 4th round pick next year and make a signing bonus of $700,000. To me, it makes a lot of sense.
You mind saying what your signing bonus was? Because weren't you a 4th round pick? $700,000. Should I assume that's what it was?
No, I wish. Inflation's real, OB. President Biden's had something to do with that. It's what a time to be alive.
Hey, Stephen, do you remember any friends of yours, perhaps, that got bad information and tried to go in the draft, and then obviously was a little bit a dose of reality came after what their agents told them, but what really happened?
100%. And here's the sad reality of that. And I think the story I just mentioned with Dotson is 100% what happened. He got the wrong people in his ear. He got his agent, and he took their advice. Didn't rely on Jimbo. And I think as a player, you're thinking, well, Jimbo just wants me to come back and play. He's a biased opinion. And they seem like this agent is their best friend and is not biased in their own right. Well, the agent just wants to get as many guys to declare for the draft so that he has a better chance of having X amount of players that he represents sign a contract and he can make his commission off of them, right? Mm-hmm. So to me, you've really got to trust that expert opinion. And I could be wrong here, but I really believe that your head coach is talking to the people that are the decision makers, and he's going to have a very good feel on what your talent level is. He's going to have a lot of guys that have come out before you that have been drafted. And so he has a good bar and reference point, whereas your agent doesn't know. Yeah, those guys don't have a clue. And so at the end of the day, no one can tell an athlete who to believe or who not to believe. But, man, you really do wish that they would trust the advice of their coaches, because I really do think those guys have their best intentions at heart.
Jimbo Fisher makes $9 million and change a year for the next, now I guess, 9 years, no matter what happens.
Yep.
So he's not going to, on the field he's going to benefit, but financially he's not going to benefit either way or be hurt by your decision. The agent is not going to make money unless you're playing professional. As long as you're in college, the agent's not making money. So who stands to gain from your decision? And that's what I would think about if I was, I'm getting two different opinions. Which opinion stands to profit from my decision?
Yep. And, and where the lines get even more blurry now is these agents are trying to sign the college player now, right? So they're actually dipping their toes into hey, this kid just signed at Texas A&M. He's a true freshman. Yeah. I want to sign him, right? Because they want to get the quarterback. They want to build that relationship with Connor Wagman before, 5 years from now he goes pro.
Plus, they can broker an NIL deal and get commission off of it.
Exactly.
Make money off you.
Stephen, last night, another thing that Jimbo said was that he hasn't changed a darn thing in regards to recruiting during the NIL phase. Why do you think that people cannot accept that? And there was a hit piece done yesterday from a University of Texas guy, I guess, and just people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
An absolutely UT guy.
Why can't people accept that that's the truth?
Yeah, I think it's hard for them to believe that A&M, who's been a very middle-of-the-road, top 25 program over the last couple of decades, is all of a sudden the number one recruiting powerhouse.
So is Texas.
In state of Texas, yeah, exactly. And so, I understand that it's hard for them to believe, but we're also investing heavily into facilities. We're investing heavily into the academic side and how we support athletes. So there's a lot of attractiveness there that A&M has gone out of their way to provide this experience for athletes when they are here on campus. But at the end of the day, Jimbo's record speaks for itself, right? I mean, the way he coaches is maintained and is the same now for however many decades. And the way his offense and all those things, they speak for themselves. And at the end of the day, he isn't paying players. So A&M is not paying a single Texas A&M football player. It's all done outside the program. And so there's a lot of truth to that. Now, at the end of the day, we are competing in the world of NIL as well. And to act like that doesn't exist is foolish. But there's always undocumented untruths out there. And so I think you got to be careful what you believe too.
Yep. Consider the source.
Yep.
I don't. Well, first of all, I don't believe it. I don't believe a lot of things like the guy that wrote A&M had a $30 million. What was his name? I mean, he doesn't even use his own name. And there are certain things I'm never going to believe, and Bobby Burton's one of them.
Well, there it is. There it is. Hey, Stephen, what did you think of Tom Brady getting that big deal with Fox Sports?
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. He's as marketable as any sports figure in the entire world. He'll probably crush it. He'll probably be amazing, just like he is at everything else in life. You know, the guy's got it all. He's a good looking guy. He's best quarterback to ever play the game. He's married to the supermodel. He makes fortunes. I mean, why not get a $370 million deal before he even finishes playing ball? I mean, the rich get richer.
He has a lot of personality too. He's really a funny guy. So I think he'll be good in that role.
So I saw this picture over the weekend, and it had Lewis Hamilton, the F1 driver. He was with Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, and David Beckham. So
I've heard of three of those guys.
You've heard of Beckham.
I haven't heard of Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, okay, sorry.
If I ever see a movie called Bend It Like Hamilton, I'll change my mind.
You'll change your mind.
Or if he marries a Spice Girl.
Let's hit a break here. We'll come back with That's Bullcrap. I'm sure we all can find one or two today. There's a lot going on. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone, brought to you by Christine Engler, the Aggie loan expert, now offering hero loans. You've earned VA benefits, so call the expert. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. Tenor Michael Patterson will be the featured soloist for the Plas Music Series at 2 p.m. on Sunday, May 15th at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church in downtown Bryan. Blood centers throughout the country have experienced a significant drop in donations, which is affecting the nation's blood supply. Visit giveblood.org to schedule your blood donation today. The Brazos Valley Farmers Market is open in downtown Bryan each Saturday from 8 to noon. All produce is grown locally from friends and neighbors you know and trust. NAMI Brazos Valley hosts weekly online support groups for those impacted by mental illness. Groups are confidential and led by trained facilitators. Visit NAMIBV.org for more information. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
It's time. Aggie parking registration is now open.
Register for your 2022-2023 parking assignment online at transport.tamu.edu by July 6th.
Be prepared to update your license plate number during the registration process.
Don't wait. Log on to transport.tamu.edu 24/7.
Register for your 2022-2023 parking now.
Brought to you by Texas A&M Transportation Services.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Looking for more ways to save money? Aren't we all? Jenny here. Shop your local Big Deals online store. You'll find gift certificates to all kinds of local businesses, places where you already shop, restaurants you already love, and great local entertainment. The best part? All of these gift certificates are on sale at discounted prices. Get them for yourself or buy them as a gift. Shop and save. You'll be glad you did.
AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
People always ask questions about individuals you work with. I'm like, nah, Max ain't really like that.
What was the question now? Now I need to know the question that was asked.
Max got some swag to him to a degree. So it's like, is he trying to be? Oh. And I have to tell him, say, nah, he ain't, nah. He been around us enough where it just rubs off on him.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on the Zone.
All right, we are back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We've got Stephen McGee there on the BCSI hotline as we continue our conversation today. It is now time for That Is Bullcrap, presented by Tom Line Plumbing. For service that you can trust, consider Tom Line Plumbing. Great friend of Stephen McGee, longtime trusted plumber in and around the Brazos Valley. The website is tomlineplumbing.com. All right, Stephen, we'll start it off with you. What's bullcrap?
Well, my bullcrap this week is just because Zane went out of his way working overtime to send this to me on a Sunday at 8:30. I don't know if you guys watch softball much. I don't know much about softball. You guys know this. I'm a one-trick pony here. But this girl for Alabama hits a shot to the outfield. They're down 1-0 against Missouri. The Missouri outfielder tips the ball, but keeps it in bounds. So it goes off the tip of the top of the root or the fence there, but it doesn't clear the fence, right? So she throws it in, and it would have been a 1-run situation for Alabama, but instead they award her a home run. And then they stopped, talked about it, and then confirmed that they wanted to give her a home run, but it was clearly not a home run. So that's bullcrap. And thanks to Zane.
Thank you, Zane. All right, OB.
Are they suggesting that Alabama got favorable officiating?
They did.
It happens in everything, doesn't it? Here's bullcrap, and I'm not even going to go for the Longhorn bullcrap. I'm going for Charles Barkley, who said that, who I like, by the way.
I love Charles.
But he said, I think this week, that players should be able to basically fight heckling fans, and that fans shouldn't heckle and all that. Now wait a minute. First of all, understand who they're hearing.
Yeah.
Those people are paying $500 a ticket, right? Or somewhere around there to be that close. And you're going to tell me, I want you to pay me this much for a ticket, and I can't heckle? Now, look, I know you can draw some guidelines. If you slurs, or if you attack somebody's family. But if I'm like, hey, Barkley, you suck, man. You're 0 for 10. You're going to tell me that
okay, OB, so
I can't say that?
If you're doing the show somewhere, let's say we're doing a remote, and then
heckle me.
And this guy comes up to you, OB, you suck.
I would say,
I'm fighting.
You're probably right. But is he going to pay $500?
No.
Am I going to get some of that, because those players, that's how they get paid. They get paid. They're not going to get paid if people aren't watching them.
Right.
So listen, anybody that wants to come here and we'll put you a chair right in front of me, and if you're going to pay $500 and I get, say, 50% of that, you can heckle me all you want. Don't say anything about my wife. And you know what? You can even call me a honky or a dirty white boy or whatever you want to call me. I don't care. You can call me whatever you want to. Keep my family out of it, and I'm good with it.
There's a group of 12 guys that are probably saying, I wish Nuño would offer that.
So come on.
All
heckle
right.
me.
I'm going to give this one to CBS Sports. So they did a regrade of all the 2017 hires, college coaches, right? And they gave Jimbo
I saw that.
a B. Okay? And
was it a B plus or a B?
I forget. B plus B. But it was in the Bs. Okay? I should have written it down, but I didn't. They gave him a B. And I guess I can live with a B. I don't have a problem with the B, but whatever. But then I see what they gave Dan Mullen, who got fired. They gave Dan Mullen a B-. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but was Dan Mullen terrible last year? And if you get fired, should you be a B with a coach who had an injured quarterback and beat Alabama, who got a B as well? I just don't think that. I think that's freaking bullcrap.
Yeah. I mean, you can make an argument that he's not at an A because they haven't won a championship or he didn't get into the playoff. But was it anything that he failed on to not get into the playoff? They got hosed politically.
2020, they got hosed politically, for sure.
So
last year was not a good year.
Yeah, he had an injured quarterback and still won, 8 games?
Yep. So I just don't think they should be on the same letter.
I can agree with that.
I think that's bullcrap.
That is bullcrap.
Yep.
Hey, Stephen, do you think the Aggies need to have elite quarterback play next year to be an elite football team? And when I say elite, I'm talking about 11-1, potentially 10-2. Do they have to have elite quarterback play?
I do think they have to have elite quarterback play. Yes, they are getting close to where they have enough in the stable depth-wise to compete consistently. I don't think that they're quite there yet. I think they just need some more age on a lot of these kids. And there's still some fairly big holes that we've discussed in previous shows. So, yes, I think that the quarterbacks are going to have to really shine in order for this A&M team next year to have a chance to compete for it all. It would not surprise me if this team was, 11-0, 11-1 with their name in consideration for it all. I wouldn't be surprised to see this football team at, 8-4 and 7-5. And the difference there, in my opinion, Dave, is going to be quarterback play.
So if they get elite play, are they an elite team then?
Yes. And I think they got to get answers at wide receiver.
All right.
I think the questions at wide receiver are greater than the questions at quarterback.
100%. 100% agree with you, OB. There's no doubt. We've talked, we've got to have that game changer disruptor at the wide receiver position that you've seen Alabama LSU have. We don't have that right now, in my opinion. Now, he may be on the roster, but he hasn't shown that at Kyle Field.
Yeah,
additionally, though, quarterbacks impact the game more than anybody, and having that consistent play at quarterback. Like, if the quarterback can be consistently good, that's what the definition of a great quarterback is, and I've not seen that yet. Both guys have a tendency to turn the football over. Can they stay healthy? I don't know.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you, OB. Wonderful job as always, my friend.
Thanks.
Looking forward to
Come heckle me.
Yeah, don't come heckle me because I'm fighting back. It's TexAgs Radio.
If you get money for it?
Oh, if I get money for
it?
Yeah, but I'm still going to fight after. I'm going to get paid, and then I'm going to punch you when you're not looking.
Okay,
all right.
Barkley.
I'm kidding. It's TexAgs Radio.
I can't believe we have to make this commercial.
It's ridiculous.
You'll think it's ridiculous too. Listen to this.
This commercial is about, it's about parents being rude at high school athletic events.
Ridiculous, right?
It gets worse. Studies show more than 75% of new high school officials are quitting because of bad adult behavior.
So now there's a shortage of refs here in Texas. In almost all sports.
No officials means no more games.
Is that what you want for us?
Come on, parents.
It's time to grow up.
Cheer for your team.
Be proud of your children.
But stop being so ridiculous.
And don't make us run another commercial.
Because we will.
This message presented by the Texas University Interscholastic League and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association, reminding you to always practice good sportsmanship.
Like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. Follow us on Twitter at Zone 1150. Get connected now. With the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. This is KZNE College Station, Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. The Burleson County Sheriff's Office started a manhunt last night for someone considered to be armed and dangerous. According to their Facebook page, 47-year-old Todd Allen Wengler is wanted out of state on an undisclosed charge and has a violent criminal history. The search, which was suspended as of 3:45 this morning due to exhausting all leads, was concentrated in the Kreisman area off of FM 308 near the Burleson-Milam County line. New building codes in the city of College Station take effect June 1st. That follows city council approval at their last meeting. Building official Brian Binford was asked why one recommendation will not be implemented to require fire sprinkler systems in newly constructed townhomes, which are considered single-family homes in College Station.
The state of Texas passed a law in 2009 that says you can't require any single-family dwelling to be fire sprinklered. If you didn't already have an ordinance in effect before, I think it was January 1, 2009, you can't require it going forward.
Binford says an exception is if townhomes are 3 stories or more, fire sprinklers are required. No end in sight to unseasonably hot temperatures means more people will be seeking relief. One resource is calling 211, which is administered in our area by United Way of the Brazos Valley. UWBV President Allison Prince says there is assistance in finding air-conditioned spaces, and they're also expecting more calls asking assistance in paying electric bills. Assistance is also available online at 211texas.org. Not all members of the U.S. House from Texas voted for giving Ukraine another $40 billion of assistance. Among the 57 members who voted no was Brazos County Congressman Pete Sessions.
This administration wants, I believe, just my belief, for this to help them get off their domestic agenda.
Sessions says this is also keeping attention away from problems along the Mexican border. For more news, go to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Hey Aggie Land! Big Shots Golf Local and Live Concert Series continues every Thursday this May in the Yard, and you're invited. Come hear local artists, the Trent Herrera Band, this Thursday from 7 to 9 at Big Shots Golf for free. So bring your friends and family for drinks, grub, and live music at Local and Live this Thursday at Big Shots Golf. See you there. Find out more at Facebook.com/Big Shots Golf Aggie Land.
Get a taste of something special at Shipwreck Grill. For great food and an amazing time, Shipwreck Grill is one of a kind.
Shipwreck Grill, serving the best seafood, delicious burgers, and great cocktails in a fun, relaxing atmosphere. Sit at the hull of the ship and watch some oyster shucking, or on the patio sipping sangria. Shipwreck Grill, open 7 days a week.
Get a taste of something special at Shipwreck Grill.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on the Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Texas A&M softball saw its SEC tournament run come to an end yesterday, falling to 12th-ranked Florida 4-1 in Gainesville. The Lady Gators jumped out early against Aggie starter Grace Uribe, scoring 3 runs in the first inning. With the loss, the ladies fall to 29-26 on the year. They'll return home now to await their fate for the NCAA tournament. Baseball's gearing up for its final home series of the regular season as reigning national champion Mississippi State comes to town. To get Coach Jim Schlossnagle's take, as well as to hear from players Troy Clonch and Trevor Warner, tune into the Aggie Baseball Hour tonight from 7 to 8 right here on The Zone. A&M women's golf is moving on to the NCAA championship after finishing in 4th place at the Franklin Regional yesterday. Jenny Park tied for second individually at 8 under. And the Aggie men's and women's track and field teams are in Oxford, Mississippi this weekend, taking part in the SEC championships. Deborah Aqua, Brandon Miller, and Motilel Mpoke look to defend their respective titles from last year's outdoor championships. Cherokee Young, Javen Reed, and Tiara Robinson-Jones also return as part of last year's winning women's 4x400 relay. Competition gets underway this afternoon and wraps up on Saturday. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Gotta be connected with The Zone. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at The Zone 1150. Like us on Facebook at The Zone 1150. Programming alerts, prize updates, scores from games all across Bryan Broadcasting, contest news, and more. Connect with us and always be in the know. Can't remember what team is playing on what station? When are they giving away what? And when is the coach on the show? Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Zone 1150. And be sure to like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. And always be in the know.
All right, we're back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in. All right, a big weekend for baseball again. They've all been big, and hopefully they can continue winning all these series here in the SEC. We'll go straight to the BCSI hotline, joined by Jim Schlossnagle, the head coach of A&M Baseball. Jim, good morning to you, sir.
Howdy, guys. Good morning.
Howdy, man. So another big series, as I mentioned a moment ago. Explain how razor-thin things are here in the SEC, how wins and losses. You got a Mississippi State team that obviously had an amazing year last year. The record isn't there, but their pedigree certainly is.
Yeah, I mean, it's the scariest thing ever. You got a team that is returning, I think, 6 of their 9 everyday position players from a national championship team. They've had some huge injuries on the mound. They've played competitive baseball. They've just lost some ball games. It's one of those teams that knows how to win. Program obviously knows how to win. That is probably has one more great run left in them. And so, especially given our, how we've won ball games, which is the bottom line is you want to win, but it's not the most, ideal model. Every game is a straight up dogfight. And so we'll just, I'm confident in our players, and I know we'll be ready to go. Getting ready to head out to practice here in about 30 minutes. But yeah, it's going to be a dogfight. I mean, they're playing. We have to be more desperate to win than they do, and that's going to be the challenge.
You mentioned knowing how to win. This is a team that knows how to win. How about you all this year have really, especially here in SEC play, learned how to win games late, early, different ways? Has that impressed you with the way this group has gone about their business, knowing how to seize the moment?
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's why I say if we ever really do get it going on the mound, outside of Detmer and a few other guys, I mean, it's a scary bunch, and they could literally achieve anything they want to achieve. It doesn't matter the score. We don't like to play from behind, but there's been a lot of games where we've played from behind. So, that's a brutal way to try to play, but it also, when you're in those situations and you come back, then you don't panic when the other team goes up by a couple runs. But the competitive spirit, I've said it all year, the competitive spirit of this bunch is as strong as any team I've ever coached. And, I've been lucky enough to be a part of some great ones that had that in them and won some big games to find their way to a long postseason. This is a team we'll look back and very fondly of, regardless of how the season ends.
Jim, one of the things that has impressed me is the fact that people have taken turns having their moment to shine, right? Like you may have a little bit of a struggle, and that's when Chris Cortez steps up and vice versa, and Austin Bose has stepped up. Different people have stepped up throughout the year. It hasn't just been one guy.
Yeah, certainly our depth, position player-wise, and the ability for, like we've talked about before, for Bose to play multiple positions, for Targach to play multiple positions. I mean, if you told me before the season you're going to play most of the year without your starting shortstop and most of the year without who I think is our most physically talented player and was headed, I believe, toward an SEC Player of the Year type season in Trevor Werner, and then no Christian Curtis, no Ty Sexton, some other guys go down, I'd be like, holy cow, what is that season going to look like? But we've had some guys really elevate their game. Menifee has pitched way better during the season than he did in practice preseason. That just shows you, veteran experience. Palish, Brad Rudis has gotten us some big outs. Wyatt Tucker, I think, is coming on. It'll be interesting to see how his season finishes here if we maybe give him a chance to pitch in a little bit bigger role. And also, I still think Micah Dallas's best innings are ahead of him. And, winning players sometimes show up when they're needed the most. And Micah's a winning player, so hopefully they'll start this weekend.
What is the game plan with Micah this weekend and moving forward?
Good question. We're going to start Detmer on Friday. We'll leave the other two as the most popular guy in the SEC is TBA. So we'll leave those kind of as is. You know, I want to watch Mississippi State play against this for a day, and then we'll have Micah ready to go. We'll have Prager ready to go, and we'll have Wyatt Tucker ready to go. So we'll see. We'll just win them one at a time, and if we think Micah can help us win a ball game Friday night, we'll use him Friday night. If not, I'm sure he's going to pitch. I mean, he's one of our, regardless of his numbers, he's one of our better pitchers. So he's not going to get any better sitting in the bullpen. He's got to figure it out on the field, and we'll figure out what the best role that is for him.
Jim, obviously, Ryan Targach just had a nice few weeks here, and the home runs are there. But one thing that caught my attention, Gabe had in his piece recently, that he's got the most RBIs during SEC play. Just that stick, man, he's really come along.
He really has. You have to give him a lot of credit. You have to give Michael Early a lot of credit. He's staying on the baseball. He's using the whole field to hit. And the other thing about his RBIs is the guys ahead of him are getting on base. You know, I mean, Minnick still has a lot of strikeouts, but his walks are up. Boast obviously gets on base a fair amount. Claunch on base percentage is pretty good. So he's, Targach is getting a hit with runners in scoring position. So, that's why, depth to a lineup is so important. And that's why I also hate to mess with it too much, because I think there's some good mojo to it, and we literally have a chance to score in every inning. If you can have a guy like Kaler hitting at the bottom, even Jordan Thompson's done a nice job of getting on base and getting some hits lately. Those guys just flip the order over, and you have some really good hitters getting with guys on base. So Targach has done a great job. He's going to have to continue to do that and continue to play good defense too. That's the other thing he's done, is he made some really nice plays at second base. And, when I took this job, everybody was telling me he was a guy without a position. So he's done a really nice job of being a utility guy that can play multiple spots.
Jim, just one hit for Trevor Warner this past weekend, but are you encouraged with what you're seeing from his at-bats?
Yeah, starting to have more, really encouraged from his batting practices, really starting to show what we saw leading up into the season. I would say he's probably in the 80% range of that. And his 100% is so insane in terms of exit velocity and the ability to drive the baseball all over the ballpark. That grip strength in that injured hand isn't quite back all the way comparable to the healthy hand. And I think once we see that, then when he does touch the baseball, it's really going to take off. He hit that home run on Saturday, but I think his overall swings have been more aggressive, and he's done a really nice job in the leadoff spot. He's not afraid to hit deep in counts. He's taken some walks, led off a game with a walk the other day on Sunday, and he's just a really exciting player, and certainly hope we can get him back too.
Jim, how would you assess the season that Will Johnson's had for you all?
He's definitely improved. The other day, he made really just one bad pitch, the pickoff throw. Obviously, that's just inexcusable. He knows that. But he's really done a nice job of pitching in a role there in the bullpen as a lefty when, it's nice to have that third lefty when you don't want to use Palish yet. Again, he gets both right-handed hitters and left-handed hitters out. I mean, he's a lefty that goes up to 93 with two breaking balls, and the slider is a real pitch. He just has to command the baseball more. And we gave him a couple starts. What I think with him is what I see with a lot of players all over the country is the COVID season really affected the development of these guys. And so they're all a year behind, sometimes a year and a half behind, because they didn't get to play summer ball either. They're a year and a half behind their development. So I have really high standards for Will. He knows that, because I truly think he can be, I think he can be a starting pitcher at some point and be a really good one. And I certainly have had lefties with not nearly the ability that he has or nearly the pitches that he has pitch their way to the big leagues. And so my expectations for him are high. He just has to get enough experience to where he's as confident in himself as we are in him. And I've said that about Nathan Detmer. That's why you've seen him make a turn. But Will Johnson, Curtis White, those guys, I think, started the season with kind of that fake confidence. They weren't quite sure they were able to pitch in these big games, and we believed they could. And now they're starting to, and Christian, even though he got hurt, but I think they're really starting to buy into the fact that they can succeed.
Jim, isn't it funny, though, that like you have to kind of live it to know it? You may think you can do it, but until you've actually done it, it doesn't really click. And baseball being such a mental game, the fact that they have now those battle scars has helped that early confidence that wasn't really there.
Yeah, it's just like raising children, right? I mean, as your kids get older, you tell them, hey, man, just learn from my mistakes or learn from my experience. The country song is, don't ask me how I know, right? Don't drink the water in Mexico. Don't ask me how I know. Just do this. But they have to experience it for themselves, and that's part of learning. That's part of growing. It's painful sometimes because it can cost you a ball game as you're going through it. But in the end, you end up with a really good player. So. We're trying to balance that, and that's the thing about being an amateur baseball coach, right? A college baseball coach. You're trying to win the game, but to win long term, you guys experience, and there's no delay. We don't send them down to get experience there. We have thing in our program. You have inexpensive experience and expensive. All expensive. Are getting.
I think we lost Jim there on the BCSI hotline, but regardless, we expect big things this weekend and the rest of the way. We want to thank Jim Schlossnagle for joining us here. He cut out. We will, guys, let him know that we'll get him back here next week, but we appreciate his time here on the show. Jim Schlossnagle on the BCSI hotline. His phone just cut out there, but some interesting stuff there that I think came out of that conversation, and I think he's exactly right. Don't ask me how I know. That was awesome because it's true. We all have done it as parents. If you're a parent listening, like you tell your kids, but until they fail or until they succeed, because there's both sides of that. Until you actually do it, you just don't know. And I think we've seen a lot of that with this team, and it's a lesson in collegiate sports that I think we see a lot more. We saw with the football team, we saw with the basketball team, we've seen it with softball, we've seen it with Aggie women's basketball. You name it, you have to live it, and this team has certainly done that. Another thing I just wanted to bring out is the fact that Austin boasts an 8-game hit streak right now. So just consider that heading into this weekend. He has been huge on that. Jack Moss over the weekend went 7 for 15. So he was huge as he's been all season long. Just some other thoughts. We'll get into some baseball thoughts when we come back here on TexAgs Radio, plus a lot of your text messages from early in the show that we were not able to get to, and some of your thoughts here. You can call us up on the BCSI hotline, 979-693-1150, 979-693-1150, or text us on the A&B text line, that number, 979-693-1150. Right now, I want you guys to stop and envision what it's like to be in an emergency situation. If you've been in one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've had loved ones that have been through it, you know how scary it can be, whatever it may be. But you know that the main thing is you want your loved one, you want yourself to feel better immediately. It is a scary situation. The term emergency should cause some panic, right? And that's what happens. So you want to go somewhere you can trust and a place that's going to make you feel great immediately. And that's why I highly recommend to everybody to check out Caprock Health. They're the best in the Brazos Valley. They're 100% locally owned, operated right here, providing the ability to put the patient first in every decision that they make. And that is so, so important. When you're not feeling well, they want to make sure that you're feeling better immediately. They've got 2 state-of-the-art locations designed for patient healing and family friendliness. They also have 0 wait times for emergency care. So when you go there, you step in, I'm going through this. You're not going to have to sit in a crowded waiting room and wait and just feel terrible for a long time. They're going to put you in the back and take care of you right away. You've got Caprock Hospital in Bryan and Caprock 24-hour emergency center in College Station. The hospital and the ER both maintain a clean and sterile safe environment. It is Caprock Health.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone, brought to you by Christine Engler, the Aggie loan expert. Teachers close a loan with Christine and get a $500 Target gift card. NMLS 1309378, Equal Housing Opportunity. College Station Noon Lions Club is hosting Art in the Park, a free community event for children and families on Saturday, May 14th at Central Park from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The Shiro Volunteer Fire Department invites you to their 42nd annual barbecue on Saturday, May 14th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out for food, fun, and prizes. On Sunday, May 15th, Blue Baker is celebrating 21 years in the Brazos Valley with Free Cookie Day. Come to any of their 3 locations and grab a free freshly baked cookie. Texas A&M Libraries is hosting the traveling exhibition Wildlife Guild of Bookworkers Triannual Exhibition at Cushing Memorial Library and Archives through June 24th. That's your community calendar, brought to you by Christine Engler at AggieLoanExpert.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
You know us through the Aggie Ring and our work helping current and former students. You also know that we work to uphold our traditions and help bring Aggies together around the world. We are the Association of Former Students, and it's our mission to provide resources, support programs, and cultivate the experiences that you know and love. But have you ever stopped and wondered why? Why does the association support Texas A&M and Texas Aggies? Why are we always here, there, and everywhere for the Aggie Network? Why do we tirelessly work to ensure that the Aggie experience is both unforgettable and life-changing? Well, you may be surprised to learn that the answer to why is as unique as your own Aggie story. That's why we created IamTheWhy.com, a place for shared Aggie stories and unique perspectives. It's where you can hear the why, see the why, and discover why Aggies like you are the why. Visit IamTheWhy.com today.
Progressive's Home Court Explorer lets you easily compare our direct rates with multiple companies. Now that we've covered something you could do, it's time for sports stuff you definitely could not do.
If you were head coach, you would not have gone for it on 4th down. Your confidence in your play calling ability might be a little overblown, considering you're barely confident in which restaurant to order takeout from, let alone choosing a play in front of 70,000 screaming fans.
But you definitely can use Progressive's Home Court Explorer to easily compare rates. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
On Sports Talk, I visit with Bob Herrig, author of the new book, Tiger and Phil.
Obviously, the incredible players that they've been and their interaction and some of the pettiness between them. Yeah, there's some of that Tiger might not like, but it was mostly harmless stuff. And I think golf fans might be kind of interested or intrigued by some of the stuff that went on.
Sports Talk, some may not like it, but it's basically harmless. Weekdays from 4 to 6 on The Zone.
Yeah. And you say Shot City, Shot City, Shot City. I'm coming home again.
Coming home, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Appreciate everybody listening in. Going to the A&B text line, a couple things that came in. Durham Doc, my indisputable truth of life number 2. Whenever SIPs accuse Aggies of cheating, they are already doing it themselves at a higher degree. Durham, and this is from I guess a hit piece from Bobby Burton is what we're calling it, and just coming after Texas A&M and NIL, and just really, it upset me, and it shouldn't, but it did, just because I'm like, hello, what are you guys doing? Like, I don't know what you're doing, but I do know that you bragged about what you did, so that part we know is true, and we know that you left, or you got a guy in Quinn Ewers who was looking at Texas Tech and Texas, and yeah, you said, why wouldn't he? Of course he'd pick Texas, when everything around him was financially based. So it is what it is, and I have found throughout the years in almost everything. When you point fingers at people, the famous statement your parents told you, 3 fingers are pointing at you, and there's no evidence at all to say that A&M did anything wrong, and Texas is doing the same thing. And to suggest that Walter Nolan is the reason, picking A&M is the reason Tennessee is doing this or that. Look, Alabama was already doing stuff too. They bragged about it initially. We also have Spencer in Denver on the A&B text line. They all are jealous. They know that we have the money, the coach, the facilities. Jealous. They know the truth. No doubt about it. Another one is Burton is just feeding the sheep. This coming in from Chance on campus. If I had $1, he could have paid Andy Staples and seen the fund, spent low 7 figures for the entire 22 class, probably less than half of what Tennessee just paid for their quarterback. So you have that as well. And let's see, Joshua, if more players choose to stay due to NIL, what effect will that have in trying to recruit and keep highly talented young players who want playing time? Do you get a Walter Nolan if DeMarvin Leal stays? Every case is individual. I really believe that to be the case. I think it just depends. If you're buying into the program, and I hope most kids pick a school because of the fit. And that fit can include playing time, but hopefully it includes the culture of the school, the head coach, the facilities. There's so many things that I think go into it. It's not just one thing. And by the way, if this school is paying that, another school is too. So now the playing field is even, if you will. Deeper pockets. Okay, well, we got deeper pockets. Sorry. We're the United States. Deal with it. So, but no, I can't tell you Walter Nolan specifically if he stays. What I will say is that I think people bought into the vision, the Jimbo vision, and that's why you saw a movement. And also they bought into their own class, right? What Connor and Bobby and all the original guys were doing and rallying the troops. I think that is a huge reason. The relationship that Bobby Taylor had with Walter Nolan, especially when they came here, when we did our post-game wrap, and they walked in and had a good, like you could see they were pals. They were getting along. All that played a role, no doubt about it. Matt in San Antonio. The NIL cheating allegations remind me of the Astros cheating scandal. Exactly what I said in our lead. When the Dodgers and Yankee fans still keep booing Astros players, even though both those teams also stole signs. Not a perfect analogy since A&M has been found to be cheating. Matt in San Antonio. Yep. I made that comparison earlier because I'm going to use the Yankees in this case. But the Yankees' proud history. I've also had a sketchy past as well. I mean, A-Rod, hello. Roger Clemens, who I love, who I don't know if he did. He won, but people think, whatever. I'll use different names. There are many people that have been in that Yankee clubhouse from their back in their day and their championship days that have have been in trouble for steroids or whatever it may be. The Yankees got in trouble. The Red Sox got in trouble. The Dodgers all got in trouble. Everybody got in trouble for different things. One just did it at a higher level, but it's still the same sin, if you will. All right, more of that on the A&B text line, Ron and Irving. Do you think people are mad because A&M isn't saying places that are giving out NIL deals like Pancake Factory and Lamborghini? I think people are mad at A&M because they like to be mad at A&M, and also they know that we'll go with it. Like the CBS piece that I mentioned earlier about who's the first name that they put in this article regarding the 2017-2018 college football coaching carousel from Jimbo Fisher, Scott Frost, and Dan Mullen. Who's the first? The picture that they have at the top of the column is Jimbo Fisher. It elicits a response. And then the conversation is Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M. Accomplishments, bowl games 4, AP top 5 finishes 2020. And the original grade when they hired him was an A, not an A+, an A. They gave Chip Kelly back then an A+. The grade right now, a B+. I think a B+ is fine. I'd give him an A, but I'm not going to argue that. But they know it's going to elicit a response, especially when just a couple of guys down, you see what Dan Mullen got, a guy who got fired. I'm trying to find where he is on here. But he got fired, and he got an original grade of an A, and he gets a B-. And some of the reasons for it was he's got the 5th winning percentage all-time at Florida at .694. Significant improvement over Jim McElwain and Will Muschamp. So they gave him a B-, but the guy got fired. So there's that. He got fired, yet he gets that grade. And I think unfortunately in our world of social media and clicks and stuff, people are mad at A&M because they don't like the newbie. I don't remember how Clemson felt 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, but I'm assuming it was a similar feel. Jimbo also is not going to give you the answer that they want. He's going to give you the answer that he believes to be true, and I think that rubs people the wrong way. All right, we'll hit a break here. When we come back on TexAgs Radio, we are going to talk to Aaron Torres, who's going to give us his thoughts on the world of college basketball, college football, you name it. But right now, I want caller number 1. We're going to give you a free car wash from Aggieland Express Car Wash in South College Station off of William D. Fitch in Greens Prairie. Aggie owned and operated with the friendliest staff and a personal touch. They offer monthly memberships, but we'll give the first caller a free car wash right now from Aggieland Express in South College Station. 979-693-1150.
Bobby Knight and Bill Belichick have both stared him down.
The party don't stop.
It's David Nuño on TexAgs Radio, weekdays on the Zone.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
If you have considered replacing the windows in your brick veneer home, you may have been told that it would be necessary to either remove the brick or tear up the inside of your window box. You need to know that Intercon replaces windows and brick every day, and we don't tear up anything except the window which is being removed. By installing windows every day, Intercon personnel have worked out methods which result in the replacement windows being at least as neat and effectively installed as your windows were when they were new. This means that Intercon can furnish and install replacement windows which exceed today's tighter standards for efficiency